crazy to think you've done 6 glorious seasons thus far. I mean, I know this is just a really general, vague question. I apologize, but like you're wrapping it up. How do you characterize the journey that this series has taken you on?
I would say surprise. I mean, I don't think any of us thought we were going to do 6 whole seasons. And also, I don't think any of us thought we would get Emmy nominations. We were just supposed to be a fun, silly, stupid, in a good way, little show. So that's been fun.
How bittersweet was this to wrap up? You guys done shooting, I imagine? I mean,
yeah,
6 seasons together?
Yeah, we finished up in the spring, and it is bittersweet. I'm always excited for the next thing, but at the same time, we know we've had so much freedom and fun on this show that it's a rarity these days in television. So,
Who cried? Did anyone cry on that last day?
Everyone did, I think, except for me. But I felt it. I felt it. I just didn't do it.
I did, but not because the show was ending, because I turned 50.
Yeah.
And that, for me, was enough to shed a tear.
How much of a bang is this show going to go out with in season 6? Can you guys tease it for us?
It's going to be great. We really set out to make a last season that was just purely funny and has a very fun ending, but we didn't want it to be one of those last seasons that gets sentimental or tries to wrap up too many. I would say if you've never even seen the show before, you can start with the last season and you'll get everything that's going on, and it's our usual funny silliness.
The last episode of the series is one of the most unique pieces of television I think anyone will ever see.
Jesus, you're setting the bar high.
Okay.
But it is. It's really fun.
I just remembered it just now, and it's so good. It's memorable.
Do you guys as cast members, did you have any requests, like something that you hadn't gotten to do that you're like, oh, can I do this in the last season before we're done?
No.
Yes, Matt, you wanted somewhere in this show to say, like the guy in the YouTube video said, I've just had a succulent Chinese
just
meal.
that one line. Yeah,
There we go.
Yeah.
And we did get that in.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean,
But I wanted to do that like years ago.
That's true. Everyone's requests get worked in. Also, at one point, Matt found a very good Elvis impersonator who we tracked down, and then he's been on 2 or 3 episodes.
He was great.
I mean, the show has gotten so much love for really just being, I think, the perfect spin-off in terms of just, replicating and staying true to the tone of the film, but also just expanding on the mythology and becoming its own thing. Paul, I mean, just take a victory lap for a second. Like, what has the show done so right?
If I knew that, I could make 5 more just like it. But it's so much. Obviously, we have great actors and great writers, but so much of these things is luck, is having the right actors and the right writers and the right idea at the same time. And that's why nearing the end of my career, that's why I'm enjoying the Shadows so much, is because these things come along once or twice in a lifetime. I would say. Now I'm going to cry. Finally,
I didn't know.
finally
Are
the
you
tears
retiring? What
Let
do
it
you
out,
mean
let it
the
out.
end of your career?
I'll tell you about it later.
Are you serious?
No, it's just I feel like I'm 58.
Let's
like I'm
break
not going to
the
be.
news on
I'm not going to
CBR.
be doing this forever, but I don't know. I feel like doing news radio at the beginning of my career. I was like, I'll never do a show like that again. And Shadows, then all those years later, where I just love it so much, and I love all the actors, and it's so fun and funny. I'm not retiring tomorrow.
What kind of bond have you guys formed as a cast over the course of this adventure?
Why are you staring at me like that? I would say this crew is one of the. I mean, it's an honor to get to work with like people at the top of their game. There's nothing you can throw at anybody in the cast that they can't throw back twice as hard, improv-wise and comedy-wise. You just know it's good. Everything's gonna hit all the time, and it's been again. I'm gonna miss it. It's like it doesn't. That's not every show where everybody's firing on all cylinders.
Who among the cast is most vampiric in real life?
I'd say Doug.
Doug Jones,
who
yeah.
plays the Baron. I mean, he looks the most like a vampire, a lot more than we do, and he does sort of feature in this last series. So you will see him again. But most of the time, I was acting to him, and it wasn't him; it was just his torso.
Yeah.
Stuck in a sort of radio-controlled car, and you'd like talk to him as if it was him, but it wasn't. He was somewhere else.
There have been so many great cameos and guest spots on the series over the years. I want to ask you guys about this, from Mark Hamill to Wesley Snipes to Paul Rubens, rest in peace. Who have been some of your favorites? Like, who have been those folks that came on that kind of geeked you guys out, especially?
Mark Hamill,
Yeah.
without a second's pause.
Yeah. What was your experience like with him? When you get into a situation where you meet an icon like that, do you even geek out a little bit?
Well, no, you try and sort of, you try and kind of play it as cool as you can. But in TV, you never know until the last minute, whether you've got them or not. So you don't get your hopes up. And it isn't until you actually see them there, in their sort of full costume, that you know that they're going to do it. They can't really get away there. So when he was there, it was like, shit, he's here. And it was fantastic. I'm not going to be kind of cool about it. There's no point. It was amazing.
How about for you guys?
This season we have Bill Cosby coming in. He does quite a few episodes, so that's fun. I always, anytime one of my friends could get on the show, we had Greg Turkington on last season. He's great, and a couple of my friends this season. That's always really enjoyable to get to play around with them and have some fun. And we have another guest star this season that's on top of everyone's list for comedic icon.
I feel like this upcoming season, like a lot of the previous seasons were about people who'd played vampires before, and we got amazing people. This upcoming season was about the people that we really admire comedically, and there are just the 5 of the funniest people. It was almost like this is the last season. We've got to find a way to get these people, and we did, and they're really funny.
Cosby was there in seconds.
Say someone hasn't tuned into this show yet. I know, blasphemy. They should be drunk. But Paul, you talked about this season sort of standing on its own. But if there was sort of one episode from the previous 5 seasons that you guys think you would, if you were to recommend one episode to whet people's appetite, do you guys have a favorite?
I like the one where they're trying to get the sire, and they're roaming the streets of Staten Island to get the sire back. And they go into a box store, and the sire is up on top of the aisle, and everyone's sorry, Black Panther. I think that was where the whole group is working together, and the prosthetics and the special effects of the sire and the Baron and all of it. I think just this is a place a show like this could go that you're not gonna see on any other television show.
One of the great things about the show too, I think, is that it's like any good sitcom, you can kind of jump in any season, and you watch one episode, you get the gist. It's like The Addams Family or something like that, where you see one episode, and though it's crazy and absurd, you still get it's just a funny family sitcom.
Yeah, that's always been the goal, is to never make it one of those shows where someone says, oh, you have to start at the beginning. Oh, you have to watch them in order. I like old-fashioned shows like Bob Newhart and Mary Tyler Moore, where you get it. They're dumb vampires living in Staten Island. But then if you're a super fan, you watch closely, there are longer threads and stories. But my favorite episodes, going back to your question, are the ones that have, like Kristen said, the whole cast together doing something. And one of my favorites is the simplest one, which was when they were trying to get Baby Colin into a private school, and it basically was all the characters in one room for the whole episode, and it was the simplest thing and the most fun thing. And then my second favorite was probably the Jackie Daytona one, because it was such a weird departure, and it was so fun seeing Matt trying to be what Laszlo thinks a human being would behave as.